Yo, what's up? Future Shock here. Just got back from the gym, hence I look fucked. I thought I'd do a quick video before my dinner's cooked, looking at the Arsenal lineup versus Chelsea. Also talking a bit briefly, because I'm very hungry, about the state of Mikel Arteta's press conference yesterday. Now, in case you didn't know, the Arsenal, and I don't know if this probably applies to a lot of clubs, but the questions that are given in the press conference are basically kind of screened, so he can't really get difficult questions. I think, having watched most of the press conferences, I think sometimes some do sneak through, but basically they're vetted by the club with the journalists to kind of ensure that certain things are asked and certain things aren't asked, more specifically. So yesterday, amongst other things, amongst a lot of kind of waffle and basically sort of political misdirection. I mean, we've seen this from Arteta for a long time. I mean, really going back to it, really kind of well, you could argue that it started right at the beginning, but it really kind of came to fruition when it was the Ozil saga, and he was kind of trying to sort of cover up the situation with Ozil, and by kind of like making claims that it was all to do with playing, all to do with sort of like his playing attributes rather than anything that he'd done off the pitch, which was clearly just nonsense, and just really start as if we weren't a laughing stock enough as it is, considering how far we dropped, considering we finished 8th the season before, and sort of just fluked an FA Cup basically, to sort of keep us afloat in Europe. Then he starts on with stuff like that. But anyway, this has continued through the season. And yeah, so here we were yesterday being told by Arteta that we have improved in many areas. Yeah, I know. It's like, what the fuck? We're worse off in the table. We're lower down in the table. We went out earlier in the FA Cup. I asked, Aubameyang's worse. Partey's come in and got worse. Gabriel's got worse. Tierney's been more injured. Saka and Emil Smith-Rowe have been overplayed, and they've steadily got a bit worse. The right back situation is a shambles. It's got worse. Leno's got worse. I think technically, our defensive goals against record in the league is slightly better than this time last season. Yeah, that's cool. That goes to show that stats don't tell the whole story. Anyway, look, my chicken pasta is really on the way. I haven't seen the lineup, so I'm just going to check the Premier League website now and see what the hell is going on. Mendy and Werner benched, Aubameyang starts. Okay. So they've got Kepa. So this is Chelsea. Kepa, Thiago Silva, Kurt Zouma, Cesar, Dave, Jorginho, Chilwell, Gilmour starting, Reece James. He could cause problems, I think. Pulisic, Mount, and Havertz. Yeah, that's a pretty decent team, all things considered. Now, your guess is as good as mine. What's going to happen next? On to Arsenal. So Leno's in goal. Tierney starts, so that is a bit of good news. I mean, it shows that his fitness is, well, it looks like his fitness is returning. Gabriel and Holding are probably our worst partner. Whoa, hang on. Gabriel, Holding, and Mari. Okay. So I guess that... I guess Holding must be... Who's going to play right back? Who is going to play right back? This is kind of confusing. Am I missing something here? What date are we today? Third. Are we third? No, we're not. We're 12th, aren't we? Christ. This is what I was thinking. It must be Rob Holding. Rob Holding at right back. What can possibly go wrong? I mean, Jesus Christ. Well, to complete it, that's the defence. Partey and Elneny in midfield, so that obviously, immediately signals a creative spark. Smith-Rowe and Odegaard, Saka, and Aubameyang. So Smith-Rowe on the left. Again, Martinelli doesn't start. He's on the bench. Bench is Heki B, Ceballos, Lacazette, Willian, Suarez, Pepe, Chambers, Ryan, Martinelli. I mean, it's kind of uninspiring. I don't know. It's really, look, there's some firepower up front. Smith Rowe, Odegaard, Saka. There's creativity and firepower. Oba up front. He needs goals. Hopefully he can get some tonight. But Rob Holding at right back is how many right backs are we going to have? I mean, is Rob Holding a better right back than Chambers? I mean, only 2 weeks ago Arteta was telling us that Chambers had come in and done a good job, and now he's being demoted essentially for Rob Holding. Well, and oh Jesus Christ, I couldn't. I mean, for me as well, Smith Rowe and Saka need to rest. So I would have had Pepe in there, and probably Pepe and Martinelli on the wings. I would have had stick Odegaard in there. I still think with Odegaard, he's not come back properly from his injury. I also don't think he's the Galactico that we all want him to be, like the next Ozil or the next whomever. But he's capable of more than he has in the past few games, and I really can only think that that's because of the injury. It's just kind of, I guess as well, if you get an injury and you're kind of like not used to the Premier League, like the pace and the power of the Premier League, he's still getting used to it, I guess, especially having had an injury. It must be a little bit difficult to come back to full fitness so quickly, especially with the games coming thick and fast. But hey, we've not got so many games now, so maybe he can get back up to speed. Well, where's the creativity? Like, where's the transitional creativity? Sadly, if we don't have Luiz, it's difficult to play out from the back. I mean, Holding isn't that player. I mean, Chambers arguably is a better attacking threat than Holding. I mean, God, you could argue that. Oh no, you couldn't argue. I was going to say you could argue that Bellerin is, but probably Bellerin and Holding are on the same level. Yeah. It would have been good to see Tierney and Martinelli down the left, because Smith Rowe obviously isn't really a winger. For me, it's either Smith Rowe or Odegaard in the team, and I don't know. I still think. Look, I understand it's against Chelsea. Yeah, I mean, look, Smith Rowe did great against Chelsea at Christmas. So, look, let's see what happens. I think it could be. I don't know. Chelsea are a confident team at the moment, and they're so well organised. I don't know. Let's hope that Oba gets at Kurt Zouma like he did in the final, gives him a few reminders of what happened, and we can somehow pick up some points here. Because the only thing, as sad as it sounds, the only thing we have got left really to play for, if you can count it, and it's very sad to count it, but it really is the only thing we can grasp at, because we ain't making the Europa League, and I just don't want us to be in something called the Europa Conference, because that just sounds like the Vauxhall Conference and just sounds like, the losers club. But we are 4 points behind Spurs, so at least if we could finish above them, I mean, I'm not really that bothered, but if we could finish above them, at least we could say we've had the most abysmal season, the shittest season since like 1995, and we still finished above them. I don't think it's going to happen, because they've got Wolves at home next. They'll pick up 3 points there. We'll probably drop 3 points tonight. To be honest with you, after the next round of games, that will probably be an impossibility. But, we can always hope, eh? I think it's about time for chicken pasta and broccoli in Hunter chicken sauce with a glass of ice cold milk and a nice vanilla yogurt dessert. That's my dinner. I've been running and cycling and doing the warrior machine at the gym and definitely not looking at any of the ass on display. Jesus Christ, my gym is ridiculous for that, but the less said about that, the better. But cool gym, and it's cheap and huge. Anyway, man, I am knackered, so I'm gonna eat, watch the game, and I hopefully will reconvene afterwards, and we won't be in horrible tears. No 6-0s, please. No, none of this stuff. And let's just look forward to the nonsense that Arteta comes out with afterwards. And at least Xhaka's not playing, so there's some positives. There we go. All right, see you in a bit.